I'm back now to show you how to edit your template. If you haven't installed your fonts already, now's a really good time to do it. If you don't have the fonts loaded, it's okay, you can still use the template. It's just going to choose default fonts. So go ahead and download your fonts and install them. You can use the video prior to this if you need more help, and then come back here and start to follow along. Okay, so each template's going to come with two formats. There's going to be a single version and a double version. The single version is going to look like this. It's just going to basically be a one-pager with no margins, and it's going to be cut to the exact size of the paper that you need. This is something you might want to send to the printer, or if you're printing directly onto like a pre-cut 5x7 piece of cardstock, then you're going to want to use this one. The only problem with this is that you don't have any bleed. So in the printing world, bleed is where, see how this line comes to the very edge of the paper? Well, most printers can't print all the way to the very edge of the paper, so it'll cut this off by about a quarter, maybe, quarter of an inch. And you're going to have a white border all around your entire invitation. So you're going to need that bleed there. This is better for sending to a printer, in this case, mainly because you do need that bleed. But that's what the single looks like, and then here's the double. This could also be multiple if you have a lot of small templates that can fit 5 to a page or 6 to a page. But this is what this looks like, and you'll see here you've got the bleed built in. So this kind of overhangs by a smidge. You're going to trim off this, this dotted line right here, and it's going to be a perfectly clean cut, which will look awesome and really professional. So we can zoom in a little bit, and now essentially your template's going to be made up of text boxes everywhere. Now you can edit these however you like. Simply just click on it. It'll give you a blinking cursor, and you can say whatever you want. You can say Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Smith. And then now to make this bigger, I just clicked on it so there's a solid blue line around the text box, and then use my arrow keys to move it up. Okay, maybe keep going. It doesn't have to be that far up, but, and then I'm going to expand it downward. Okay, and then say enter. Invite you to attend the wedding of their daughter. Alright, so you can basically say whatever you want right here. And now for this particular template, the illustration's actually hand-drawn calligraphy. So you can't, although this looks like it's a text box, it's not. It's just an illustration, sorry. Okay, so click on it. So you can do this with your illustration too. Click on it so there's a solid blue line around the whole thing. You can move it over a little bit if you need to. And then say format. This should be orange, and say drawing tools up here, because this has been converted into a Microsoft Office drawing instead of like a PNG or a JPEG. This is an actual like Microsoft Office clip art sort of thing. So you can change the color however you want. You'll see this button right here that says shape fill. You can click the drop down, and you've got all of these options to change however you want. You can pick a purpley gray. If you don't see a color that you want right there, you can go to more fill colors and click whatever you like. It's pretty awesome. Alright, let's pick something a little bit more, something softer. Okay, so maybe yours is a really soft, pale, purpley pink. And then you can come down here and keep editing. So maybe you want to remove this text box entirely. You can click it so there's a blue box around it. Click delete on your keyboard, and then you can shift all of these up. Now, the easiest way I find to shift entire groupings of words is by clicking on one, and then you're going to hold down your shift key and click on the rest. Okay, and then use your arrow keys to just gently nudge them up. And then a little bit to the right. Perfect. Okay, that's it. So maybe to make this thing look more balanced, I'll nudge these ones down. Now, if you need to see where things are in relation to each other. Sometimes it's hard to get an idea, especially if you're trying to center things. I know I get a lot of emails about centering. So what I do is I'll go to File, I'll go to View, and then Grid Lines. And grid lines basically show me where things are in relation to each other, and it also helps me because now I can move things a lot faster just by clicking the downward arrow instead of taking tiny little steps. When I move it, it's going to make big chunky steps. Okay, so I'll do that. Then I'll zoom out and see how things look. If I'm in grid mode and I want things to move slower, then I'll hold down the Control key and do Control arrow down or arrow up, and that'll move it in the really small, tiny increments again. Alright, so then I'll get rid of my grid lines, and see, it doesn't look quite right yet. Move back up. That's it! So, there are two ways to do this other one. Let's say you've made a ton of changes, and you don't want to have to recreate them on this side. I will sometimes go here and delete everything. I just highlighted it all and then clicked delete on my keyboard. And then I'll highlight all of these. So again, I'll hold down the Shift key and click each of the boxes, and then I'll go to Control C, copy it, Control V, and paste it. And then maybe I'll nudge this up. If I want it to go faster, I'll turn on my grid lines. So it's perfectly aligned. So it looks like that. And then I'll bring it over. And that ensures that both sides of my template, things are aligned, they're centered. Nudge them over. Oh, I've gone a little too far. Yeah. If you get too trigger happy, it'll keep moving long after you take your hand off the keyboard. So just remember. Okay, so it looks like it's aligned. Turn on my grid lines, and that's how it's gonna look. Maybe I'll add a little more space in here. Bring it down. Give it some breathing room. Perfect. So now I think I'm done. So just go up to File, and then click Save, and save your template. And you should be good to go. And you can print.